Hello and welcome. You're here with me, Chatty Tumbler, and we are going to be flying a night mission, the Damascus Night Strike, which is a semi-historical strike on a building, a residential building in downtown Damascus, which happened on the 18th of February, well actually the very early hours of the 19th of February in 2023. A high-ranking Syrian army officer was meeting with, well, we don't know, no one really knows what was happening inside the building, but he's inside this building, and the building was destroyed in a busy residential area by forces unknown, but it was believed to be the Israeli Air Force. There is a very short situation there, and we've got timed missions. We basically get airborne rather. We're going to fly to waypoint 1. We're going to orbit at waypoint 1 until a Mersad radar, which is a Iranian copy of a Hawk missile. That's going to get knocked out by an AI, and then once that's down, we're then going to go towards waypoint 3. And the targeting pod should be set up so that it's we're pretty close to the target building, and we'll have a look when we get there. And then we'll be told when Hard Hat, who is the target, he's an engineer, brigadier general in the engineer battalions, he'll be at the building in that time window, so we need our bombs to hit that time, and then we'll return to base. There are some extra bits, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And it's going to take about 50 minutes, but it's a night mission. We're not going to see very much, so I'm going to clear quite a lot out, and we'll see how it goes. Here we are in the cockpit. As I said, it is a night mission, so I'm going to push left out and L to bring up my torch, and we'll just get this started up. And that's the in-brief. So we've got a full brief on our need boards, and I'll show you that in a second, but it's just a summary of what happens. We're going to get airborne. We need to taxi out very quickly, get airborne, wait for the sun to get destroyed, then we can attack our target, and then here's the little extra bits for us. So when we drop our bombs, we need to be above 20,000 feet. We need to be on a heading of 220 to 230. Got to use 2 GBU-12s, and we need to hit between 2115 and 2215, and then we part back in slot 2 for the maximum score. And air traffic is on channel 18, and tactical is on channel 1, and the bullseye is at waypoint 1, which is our holding point, which is over Ryuk Air Base. So we'll get this started up. I'll show you the map, and we can do all of that. Just wait for this to get past 20 degrees. Okay, very quickly flick through these.
Line 1, passing waypoint 1 at 28,000. Overlord 9-1 on station.
Okay, we're on channel 1 at the moment, which is why we're getting all the AWACS information. Do all the slow stuff. Click, click, click. Click, click. We can probably take the torch off now. So that's the rest of it. There's 7 other aircraft going out as part of this package. So the seed guy is going to go, the suppression of enemy air defense guy is going to knock out the radar, and then all the bombers who are holding will go and hit various targets in Damascus. And we have got Lobo 7-1 flight, who is a pair of F16s there on combat air patrol in case the enemy do manage to scramble anything. Historically, they didn't. There was no air encounter, but we'll see. It's there's a random element added into this one, so we may get an air threat, but hopefully we'll be out of the area by then if we've done our job properly. I'm going to put the master arm on and laser arm on. Okay, so I'm going to open the map now. I'm not going to use the map when we're in the mission because it's a night mission and it's going to ruin my eyes because it's too bright. There's probably a mod for a night map.
5
But
airborne.
we are down here. Is it going to show me the map? No, we can click somebody else though. So everyone's getting airborne. We're going to hold at this waypoint here. This is the threat. This is the Hawk, the Mersad equivalent. And actually I've picked Jedi 5-1 here. Here's the seed guy. So he's going to get airborne. He's going to orbit until 2105, I think, and then he starts his run. He's going to try and negate that, and once that's down, we can then begin our attacks. And in downtown Damascus, we have a target in here. It's on waypoint 3. Our targeting pod is really good for this one, and we have Overlord giving us all of our radar information. So hopefully not going to be using the map anymore, because it just burns my eyes out. And the only thing I'm going to do before we get airborne, because I always forget, is we're going to fire these in pairs. CCRP. We can take that off. And let's put that in the HST. So let's do that. The other thing we can do is we have a choice. If we go into the ground crew, so push that one there, and go to ground crew, we can change the helmet mounted device. So you have a choice between the helmet mounted queuing system or the night vision goggles. Weirdly, I prefer, because it's a high level, I'm doing a high level sortie and there's no kind of low level ground threat, I'm going to use the helmet mounted display and just rely on Cockpit information to fly. But if you want to go to MVGs, you can change that. The only difference that'll be is when you're looking out, you don't get any of this HUD information. You'll just see like a green circle. So it looks like the guys are taxiing out now. We're supposed to be getting airborne at, let's come out of this, at 2050, so we're any second now really. So we may as well go for it. I haven't spoken to air traffic control, I'm very naughty. Oh, we can request takeoff, let's do that.
3-1, request takeoff.
And we'll take it off, air to ground, we don't need that information. Okay, easy comms are off on this one. So I requested takeoff on channel 1, whereas air traffic is on channel 18, which is why they haven't
4
replied.
airborne.
And why we can hear all the like 4 airborne stuff. That's because everyone's on channel 1. Turn this down a little bit.
Overlord 9-1-3-1. Request bogey dope.
Oh, that's me pushing the wrong button. Just hope it's a picture clean.
Overlord 9-1 clean.
Okay, the guys are getting airborne. Signature, let's just tweak this because it's a -10. There we go. Right, let's go. Now, if you're watching on a monitor that's not calibrated the same way as mine, you might not be able to see anything at all at this point. But I can see like all the lights in the background, most of the runway, all the buildings around. But if it's like completely pitch black, then you might want to look at your camera settings when you're watching this. Airborne. Because I've got the helmet queuing system, I can see that the waypoint is over there on my left. So we'll power down. I'll keep the labels on as well. I normally fly with them off, just so we can see the other aircraft in the sky. But all the information you need is down here. We don't need to worry about crashing into stuff, hopefully. I'll show you the knee boards in a second. It'll explain a little bit more about what we're going, where we're going, what we're doing. Okay, let's go for a 5-degree climb. That should be alright. Good. So I'm going to put it on a steering hold, and I'm going to use an attitude hold. So it's going to keep me in a climb and keep me pointed roughly in the right direction. And while we do that, let's see if I can find. So this guy is set up for seed, so he's got like a different circle compared to everybody else. All this information isn't coming from my radar, it's coming from the AWACS, which is why it's coloured dots. When the guys in front of me here with the white squares, that's coming from my radar and it's overriding the AWACS kind of coding. I think this guy here is the seed one. He's just vanished from radar. What we'll do is we're going to try and hook him, and there we go. So I'm going to make. So I've made this soy by DMS downing, and then if I push using my cursor slew keys, I'm going to select him and make him a target, like so, like you normally would with a target we're talking about. Now, if you look out the window, I've got this little hexagon, and if I look to the side, it's pointing towards it. This is me hooked onto this guy. So we have to keep track of him. He's the one who's going to trigger the mission basically. So we'll keep an eye on him. I don't need to be, I'm hands off at the moment, which is quite nice. Do you know what, let's turn all the lights off, because let's get a bit tactical. So all we have to do is turn that one to off. And we should be dark. And now I'm going to turn this down a little bit more, it's quite bright. A knee pad, so those controls. If you haven't seen the knee board, that's the default key, and then you've got previous page and next page. And we can cycle through those. If you just push K, then it just brings it flashes the knee pad up, whereas the knee board up. Whereas if you push right shift and K, it kind of brings it up and holds it. I'll say in a second. So this is, I'm scrolling left to go through all the standard stuff, and this is the mission information. So if you wanted to read while you're on your mission, you can sit and do that. It's got all the information, explains what's going on, and the code words. Tells me what I need to do. So I was supposed to get off by 2055. Well, we've done that. It's 2053. So now we're in the transit point. and then we're going to waypoint 1, and there's a Marshall plan, so it's a holding pattern for everybody, and everyone's got separation, so we should hopefully not be crashing into each other. And at 21:05, he's going to Jedi 5-1's going to do his seed push and try and knock out that missile. What else we got? We need to hit waypoint 3, and as it says here, it's within a few meters of the target building, and we can confirm it when we see guards on the rooftop, and we'll still be vehicles outside, so we should be able to do that. Once finished that, we head to waypoint 4, which is 10 miles finals. That's where it's going to get a little bit tricky when we go towards waypoint 5, because we haven't chosen, or I haven't chosen the MVG version. I'm going to have to be careful of high ground. It is a little tricky, that approach. It's going to be busy, and then the score's out of 100. I'll show you that in a second, but if we get 100 points, then we're going to get the Division Commander's Award with merit, and if we destroy the building, then we'll just get the Divisional Commander's Award, and it's all based on how well we do. We've got to be above 20,000 feet, we've got to be on a final heading of 220 to 230, we've got to use those GBU-12s, and we need to hit in that time when the hard hat, our target, is on there. And for the final 10 points here, okay, let me switch to channel 1, which are already, that's fine. We need to return to Ramat David and park in the hangar slot, which is fun because I always get lost on the airfield, and we'll see how that goes. And then we've got a list of all the friendly forces that are in the area, just a little background reading. It says here we ideally not jettison the fuel tanks because we ideally should bring them back. And we're coming to 20,000 feet, so I'm going to level off in a second. Then we've got the enemy ground forces, and it gives us all the information that we need, and the Hawk details for the, if we were doing RWR, let me just level off here. So I flick this to altitude hold. There we go. And we're at about 20,000 feet, I'll tweak that in a second. And the seed guys ahead. So yeah, we've got all the ground forces, so it's telling me about the different radar sites, what their ranges and altitudes are. So if this mission is a single player mission, but there are, like I said, 8 F16s, if you wanted to change it to a multiplayer mission, you could just go into the mission editor and tweak whichever of these formations you wanted to become player or client slots, and then people could do different things. So quite good.
Passing waypoint 1 at 25,000.
Okay, so Lobo 7 is these guys, Lobo 7, 172, that's the cap guys,
7,
so they're
on
at 1.
station at Bull 264 for 10 at 25,000.
There we go, so there, and Bull is the bullseye, and the bullseye is at waypoint 1, so they're just to the west of waypoint 1 at their height. The next page, we've got the enemy air forces. This is all of the air forces that are in theatre and where they're based, and this is these numbers are based on 2022, the best figures I could find for 2022, and the locations are the actual locations. And then this is the potential threat for us. There is a random element that will trigger at some point in the mission where they may scramble to try and get us, and that's the force that they could use to do that, or elements of that force, and where they will come from. And then here's the channels that we need, and then we have any of the code words. It is just going to appear as text in the corner to say what's going on. So if you see anything, and I've put if there is a code word, I've explained what it is in the text when it comes up as well. So hopefully you shouldn't need it, but that's what's going on. So hopefully we won't hear anything about Poseidon or Ares, because that means we're under attack. And we're waiting for Angel, which means that the Mersad Raider is down, and then we can start our attack. And then that's it. It goes into the normal knee pad. So I'm going to close that down again. We are 3 minutes and 45 seconds from waypoint 1, so we're going to be there about 2100 hours ish, and that will mean we've got a hold of about 5 minutes. So what I've got, because I've got auto steer on, if I go into my steer points, I've kept it on manual rather than going to auto. So when I get to waypoint 1, we're just going to go round and round and round in big circles on waypoint 1, which is up here, and we can see the seed guy, Jedi 5-1. He is just approaching waypoint 1, and that's him there. And then when we're done, we're going to fly towards the Hawk. And this is the problem we can't do the mission while the Hawk is active. So we're going to fly towards it, hopefully when the Hawk is dead. And then we've got a very fine run here. This is the line that we try and be as close as we possibly can be to get that 100% score and drop our bomb to waypoint 3.
On station at bullseye 223 for 1 at 25,000.
So that's Jedi 5 is now in the hold, just waiting for that push time of 21:05. We can go back onto here. So we can just wait, we're just not much to do here. What I'll do is I'll clip the video, and it'll be sort of 21:04 when you come back in a few seconds. And we're back with the magic of time travel. It's almost 21:04. I've been in a lazy hold. I haven't actually touched the joystick pretty much since I got airborne. It's all just doing its own thing. The Hawk has been appearing on my radar threat on and off. I guess it's as it's detecting the Cap Air Patrol guys, it's activating and trying to scan them. We should get the push in about 40 odd seconds for this guy, the hero of the day, Jedi 5-1, to push in and try and knock out that battery. I'd show you some lovely outside views, but it's dark. Like if I have the city behind me, I guess we could see something. But we're just in a lazy zone. So about 20 seconds until push time, and we should see the Jedi. Where is he? Up here. He'll stop doing his orbit and he'll change his attack profile. And there's the Hawk on here. It's not radiating at the moment. Until it detects something, it will then activate its second radars. Now, if Jedi fails, because obviously there is a random element here, he might actually miss with his missiles.
Pushing from waypoint 1 at 25,000.
2105, so Jedi 5-1 is now pushing from waypoint 1, so he's doing his mission. And he's up there. So if he does miss, then we will get eventually a abort mission code, which is NIX. If we hear that, then we can RTB, or we can risk it. I mean, we're at the edge of the Hawk zone. We could maybe do it and try and kill the target, or we could just ignore the Hawk zone and go straight for the target, and we'd lose those bonus points for doing a perfect mission, but we'd still get the job done. So he's off there doing his thing. Now if you notice, I said 2 of them. So I didn't calibrate my head tracker, not my head tracker, my helmet mounted display. So we're getting, there should be a plane here, and we've got a plane up here. So it may just be that I've got the head tracking isn't calibrated and it's over the top. We've got a few seconds. I could probably very quickly do that. So let's go to list 0, recall, top right, enter, line these up, push the magic button. That's that. And then select, and we're done. So now if I look at him, there you go. So now it's much closer to his name. There you go. It's now aligned. So now when I'm looking at it, I'm actually seeing what's going on. Whereas you noticed before, it was really far off. Okay, how is he doing? So he is. Looks like he's going to start running in the next few seconds. And we will get a Magnum call, or we'll see the text for Magnum. Just going to try and take it lines it up back up again. When he fires his missile, and then we can see a bit more. The Hawk is appearing on the threat radar warning here. Okay, Jedi 5-1 is beginning his run in now. I'll try and do is hopefully not be too far away from the waypoint when the SAM goes down.
5 in from the west, engaging SAM at Bulls 087 for 45.
There you go. That's the Israeli Air Force voice there of Jedi 5. It would be nice if we had more voices. Okay, we've got stuff going on here, so we can see the line. That was what he's showing, where he's firing his missiles, or where he's targeting rather. Okay, so that's a Magnum call. I would normally push F10 and show you the thing, but if you're looking at this on a dark screen, you're going to burn out your retinas. But he is firing missiles. If I use F6, there we go. We can see. You should maybe be able to see it on here. We've got an outline there of the harm missile, and there's 3 of those hitting the target. Well, there should be. Usually he fires 3. But we'll see how it goes in a minute. Okay, code word hard hat is moving. So that's the Brigadier General Engineer. He's now heading towards the apartment building for his top secret meeting. So we can't kill that building until he is in it, because otherwise there's no point doing that. The missiles are still merrily on their way. So that's 1, 2, 3. Yep, so he fired 3. There's a track radar, a search radar, and like another thing scanning type radar, which is, I assume he's firing all 3 of those. My aircraft's perfectly safe. I don't need to worry about it. We're in a left-hand turn still on autopilot with everything separated by height. So that missile's going in. Okay, we've got some random MiGs appearing over there at the back. Those labels are saying there. MiG-23s. You may have to watch for those. There's another AGM. In fact, there's all 3 AGMs. They're coming in now. We should be able to clear the SAM site. So there's the SAM site appearing, the Hawk battery.
Pushing from waypoint 1.
So all the AI's got the information before I have, so they're all now pushing because they know that the trigger has been triggered. And the final muscle's coming in. There we go, code word Angel. Oh, it's not coming in. Okay, so we've had code word Angel, which means we can now commence our mission. So let's go to waypoint 2.
5, kill Sam at bullseye
And you got the sound, which is nice. We'll take that off. And we'll head around, so it's way over there. Let's go around. I'm going to climb up to above 20,000 to get that top score. And we're about 4 minutes out for the target, so I will speed up the next bit in a second. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to air to ground mode. Let's put an altitude hold in now. That'll help a little. The Hawk is still showing us active because this doesn't update, but we know that the Hawk is down, so that circle doesn't exist anymore. So we're okay to go to this waypoint. I'm going to go to air to ground. Swap these over because I prefer to have my targeting pod in here. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm not on auto course, I'm going to change to waypoint 3, which is the target waypoint. But I'm still going to head towards this waypoint, so I've got this screen up. And I'm just going to try and fly along that line and turn when I need to. And the advantage of going to this now, let's just stop my heading out slightly, is I can then go into night mode. Gosh, that's very dark, isn't it? And then we can go to narrow. And that isn't tracking, so what I need to do is go up. Why is my targeting pod not going on to the right place? Hang on a sec. We're in air to ground. Ah, here we go. So I'm in CCIP for the bombs. What I need to do is be in CCRP. So I select that, take that off, go into the now. Oh gosh, the city's lighting up by the looks of it. Okay, they definitely know we're coming. So now that's waypoint 3. I'm not going to touch the targeting pod. Maybe at the very end, after I drop my bombs or close to it, but it said in the brief, trust the targeting pod. So somewhere in there is the target I need to hit, and I can zoom right in. So it looks like it might be that building. In fact, it's probably, because DCS is a little, these buildings are inflatable, clearly, and filling up. There are some guys floating in the air here. They are probably on my target building. In fact, I can see a guy down here, and there's a little guy or something in here. So this big building I don't think is the target. There's something behind it that hasn't rendered in yet that is going to be the target with these guys on it. So we'll see when we get closer. So I'll zoom out a little bit and just check my heading. So I was on 110. I've now come off a bit, so let's come left. And I'm aiming for this bit here. What I can do, let's see what the heading should be. Let's put it. It's going to be something like 105 maybe. To get to that turning point. Yeah, about 105. So what I could do is I can spin this, and if you see this white bit on here, on the outside, I'm just going to go around to 105, like so. And then if I flick this one up to heading select, my autopilot is now going to take me on a heading of 105. So I'm going to maintain about 20,000 feet. I'm going to jinx slightly, well sorry, I'm going to climb slightly before we do the bomb run. But we're now on that heading, roughly towards there, while everyone else is doing their thing. Is the gunfire still going off? Oh yeah, that is still definitely going off. Okay, well, the ZSU 23-4, which is, I guess that's what that is. Let's have a look. ZSU 23-4 has got an active range of, or altitude of 6,500 feet. We're coming at 20,000 feet, so that's not going to get us. And even if there was some surface-to-air man pads down there, it's not going to get us at 12,000 feet. So I'm keeping an eye on this. We're coming up to the turning point, and that building is still in there somewhere. Not touching the targeting computer, just going to let us do its thing. Going to double check the master armor's on and the laser's on, and I'm going to take the two autopilots off. Do this. So we need a final heading of 220 or 220 to 230, I think it said. As long as we're flying along that line, then we should be okay.
Passing waypoint 3 at 20.
The Hawk is showing us red because it thinks we're inside the threat range, because it doesn't know, the mission planning computer on that is built on this doesn't know that we've killed it. So we should be okay. I've not had any, deedles. Nothing's fired a missile at me. So let's come around. I'll try and stay on this line. I may need to adjust a little bit. Okay, so there's already stuff burning in the city ahead. Okay, the primary target is now in location, so we're good. So we want it. It's 21:15. We've got about 10 minutes before he leaves, so we need to get this sorted. Okay. We're lined up. We've got 11 seconds. We're on between 220 and 230, only just. We're at 228. 8 seconds, and then it's going to do the kind of weird dive bombing thing, like that one there. See the little bit that's coming in there? That's not our bomb release. We're going to do the next one. So if we were doing a dive toss, this is what we're doing. So I need to put that line through that little circle, like so. And I'm pressing and holding the weapon release button. Trying to get the plane as straight and level as possible. Oh, I'm too low. It's not going to be a perfect launch. So I breached on the altitude. So that's a pity. We'll have a look down here. If we zoom out a little bit. Let's have a look. Okay, so this is definitely the target building. It's a little bit off though, so I'm going to take it and put it here. So, come around again. Oh, I gutted about the height. That was my fault for not climbing. Yeah, there's a vehicle parked outside there. Boom. Go. Building's destroyed. Well done. Return to base. So, waypoint 4. We can be lazy. We can do autopilot on, altitude on, and we'll head home. Mission complete. Unfortunately not a perfect mission, but if I try again later, then I will make sure I'm definitely above 20,000 feet. I'm going to speed up time, and I guess you'll join me pretty much at finals. See you in a few seconds. And we're about now, what, a minute and a half from waypoint 4, and waypoint 5 is the final destination.
Passing waypoint 3 at 7,000.
Everyone's doing their thing. We've got all of the aircraft are coming back at the same time as well. I've still got my lights off, so I'm going to put those back on. Like so, and there's like extra boomy lights we can put on as well. Is it those ones? Dink, dink. So there we go. We're super bright. We should be able to be seen. Need to slow down as well. There we go. Can actually sort of see our aircraft. I still kept the fuel tanks on. If we look down here, they're empty. But if I flick back to my normal fuel, I've still got. Just heading towards waypoint 4 now. I should try my best not to crash into the hills or to get lost on the runway. I don't know how the pilots in the real world navigate so easily at night on the taxiways, because I really struggle.
Passing waypoint 4 at 5,000.
Okay, so they're all coming home. I'm going to switch to waypoint 5 now, and that way I can look out the window and see where it is. Okay, so we're heading down there. There's the 2 runways. So we're on runway 09, which means we want the runway that's heading 090 degrees. And we'll do a gentle turn in a second. We may as well do it now. All the time I'm just going to start bleeding the speed off. See the lights over there. Now if you notice, it's all very dark in front of me here. That's high ground, so we need to be careful. So just going to do a kind of a slightly higher approach than normal, just until I'm clear of the ground. If at this point, if you had the night vision goggle mode on headset, you could turn those on, and that would be very useful.
Altitude.
But we're going to keep an eye on the radar altimeter, because that will let me know if the ground's coming up too quickly. And to be honest, if I keep aiming for the light, if I can see the light and it can see me, then there's nothing in between them, so we should be okay. Still coming in a bit quick. I'll pop some air brakes out. And I'll drop the gear as well. We're taxiing back to this end of the runway. Let's have a look at this taxi man. So, kind of a parallel one that comes back. So we're going to I think we're taxiing back to kind of here. That's where the hangars are, maybe in those lights there. I always get lost, like always. And because it's a big recovery, you can't just stop and turn around them. You need to do it properly. We're still quite fast. Just opening these air brakes. And I'm looking at, again, this bit and putting it behind these dots so that I don't end up crashing into the darkness. Speed is bleeding. Up there should start getting the last bit of speed. I want to aim past the lights, so I don't want to go really below about 170 because this thing will just fall out of the sky. Okay, now we can cut the power. Bring it down gently. Ish. Pick my teeth up. Brakes on. Nice or steering on. Push these brakes. So I know the exit is about here. Somewhere is that one there? Probably. Okay, taxi about to slot 2. Oh, can we get off there? Actually, I'm going to cheat a bit. Let's turn around here. Is there a slot? Where's the taxiway? Oh my gosh, this is massively unprofessional. Too soon. Right, let's get back this way. Okay, it's got to be that dark bit there. Hang on a second. What we'll do is we will go down here. So that's got to be the main taxiway. That's the exit I thought I was coming off on. It's very hard to brake that quickly to get into those exits. We should see my little hangars. Those are the hangars there. So let's cut the power right down. Okay, so there's a gap in the lights, so that's got to be where we come off. We'll come off in that bit. So let's go all the way around. Oopsies. There we go. And that was the hangar I was parked in. That's hangar 2. Put it in here. There we go. Stop. There we go. Shutting down. Parking brake. On. There we go. So we completed the mission. We got the Divisional Commander's Award, but without merit, unfortunately, which is still nice. We can end the mission when ready. The merit one looks like this, but it's got like gold bars to make it super special. And if I push the at key, we'll get a list of everything that went on. So we can do the player. We are Wolf, so it's going to be near the bottom. There we go. This is everything we did. We were supposed to get airborne at around about 21:15. We did that pretty well. We hit our bombs. These are Zulu times compared to local times. We did our bombs on time, killed everything, and then we landed. And that was it. So that's the Damascus night strike. If you have any questions or comments, except for my terrible driving on the taxiways, then please write down below. I will always try and get back to you as soon as possible. Until then, happy hunting and stay safe.